Hello, everyone. We are here with Tacos Mananeros, a good friend of mine. He's been doing awesome videos exposing the gold, silver, dollar collapse, bond market collapse, anti-U.S. stock market buffoons, gurus, or maniacs, whatever you want to call them, for several months. And I'm delighted to have him, to speak to him. You have been making really amazing, groundbreaking clips, and I am very entertained to see them. So give me some updates right now.
How's it going, folks? It's Tacos! It's your one and only best friend, Tacos! That's why you listen to his channel!
Alright, tell me about some updates about the Marinara Sauce Man.
Well, the Marinara Sauce Man has been up to no good. He's actually decided to start charging $4.99 per month to watch his videos. I'm very schmear. And I gotta say, what's that all about? If it was up to me, I'd take the Marinara Sauce Man and slap him around a couple of times and say, "Your life is going down the toilet. What the hell are you doing, Marinara Sauce Man? You're not a professional in the market. You're a physician assistant, posing as an expert. Wake up! Snap out of it! And get back to your day job." That's what I would say to the Marinara Sauce Man.
Yeah. So tell me, how is he basically misleading his followers, as in, the capital gains that he needs to report to the government, the executions, just the way his style works? What is really the problem with this guy?
I don't know. Well, actually, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know that aspect about what he's up to and what he isn't up to. All I know is his track record, in my opinion, is not doing very well. I mean, he's been wrong on gold. He's been wrong on silver. He's wrong on economics. He's wrong on hyperinflation, massive hyperinflation. Who's totally wrong on the important issues. And in my opinion, if you have a bad track record with respect to the markets, economic forecasts, and most important issues, then that's not an individual that I would want to go for investment advice, especially on gold and silver, the most undervalued asset in world history. If I want to go to someone that for investment advice, for example, I would want to go to someone that I could track their investments, track their portfolio over years track record. I would like to go at least 2 to 5 years, conservatively speaking, before I decide I want to take on a financial planner, a broker, a stockbroker, a registered rep. I want to see more evidence of their performance, their track record, their profits and losses, and I want to take a look at their U forms. I want to see if they have any marks against their Series 7 or their securities licenses. I want to know what they are all about, and I want to make sure they are on the up and up. But if a guy is going on YouTube doing forecasts and has been wrong for the last 3.5 years, telling me the dollar's going to collapse, economic collapse, and when I take a look at the indices, and I take a look at the Dow Jones, and I take a look at where the dollar is compared to gold and silver, and I take a look at oil, and I say, hey, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. Let's take a step back and let's reevaluate this. You're telling me that the dollar's on the verge of collapse the last 3.5 years on YouTube. You've been telling me that the dollar is about to collapse, but yet when I do my due diligence and I do my research and I take a look at the dollar and I go back, say, 3-4 years, and I look at the dollar index and I see that the dollar went from 70 on the dollar index to where it is now around 84 points or so. We're looking at a major move to the upside. Right, and you're telling me, but the dollar's going to pull back, the dollar's going to collapse, but I'm not seeing what you're saying. What the markets are doing is not what you're saying the markets are doing. So we have a contraindicator here. You're saying one thing, you're saying the market is reacting a certain way, but when I do my own due diligence, it is not reacting as you are saying. So there's an issue here. You say that the dollar's pulling back. You say that the dollar's going to collapse. You say it's on the verge of collapse. And the dollar's going out of style. But I look at the dollar index, I look at the performance, and I compare that with gold and silver. I see gold going down, I see silver going down, and I see the dollar going to the upside. So obviously there's something wrong here. Now, would I trust you to handle my portfolio? Would I trust you to give me investment advice? Would I trust you on gold and silver? Would I trust you on the indices? If you cannot get the dollar correct, and if you cannot get gold and silver correct, then what else are you not getting correct? There's an issue here. There's an absolute issue here. I see the dollar here right now, 86.53. It's down 0.12 right now. But that's normal because the dollar will fluctuate to the upside and to the downside. It's been going up tremendously the last few weeks or so. It's been up. But they're telling me it's down. Same thing with gold and silver. They're telling me silver is the most undervalued asset in world history. I gotta bet against the day. I gotta load the boat on all this physical shit. And when I take a look at the physical market, the silver market, it's in a bear market for the last 2-3 years or so. The whole entire time you tell me it's a buying opportunity. Well, it's not a buying opportunity. Buy and hold and always be holding, never be selling is a detriment to anybody's portfolio. What do I do if you're telling me keep stacking, always be buying, the most undervalued asset in world history? Well, what do I do if I don't have money to buy more? What do I do if I need to sell some in order to become liquid again? Do I sell my holdings or do I hold on to them and wait for the dollar collapse? What do I do? These people, if they cannot answer specifics, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. So like right now, I see silver, it's down 5 cents, $16.81. I see platinum appears to be down $22, and palladium is down $8. But you're telling me these precious metals is what I have to hold during hard times because these are hard assets. Well, what do I do when they're collapsing? These are the questions that the Ascon pumpers cannot answer because they just have a position of buy and hold. What if I were to say, maybe holding some precious metals, gold and silver is okay, maybe 2%, maybe 5%, conservatively speaking. What if I were to buy some physicals, and also maybe if I'm savvy enough, maybe if I start to get involved in maybe doing some ETS, maybe doing some SLV, maybe doing some GLD, maybe hedge my physicals by trading the paper markets, wouldn't that be a much more lucrative opportunity, much more substantial than just buy and hold and buy all this crap physicals, which doesn't do anything for me? And what do I do after the dollar collapse? What happens to gold and silver at that time? Do they suddenly go to the moon? Do they deleverage? What happens at that point? The Ascon pumpers really have no answer other than, well, at that point we will have a reset. Well, we will put the dollar in a basket of other currencies. We'll weigh the dollar against other currencies, and we will have to devalue the dollar around 30% or so. So by then you will be fine if you're holding physicals. Well, really, you're relying on an alleged fantasy land of a reset and pegging the dollar to another currency in a basket in order for me to capitalize and be safe with my precious metals. That way, after the reset, the 30% after the reset, then that will be weighed against my silver and gold, and my silver and gold will be worth more. It'll hold its value against that currency, the dollar. I mean, the stupidity of holding physicals, the stupidity around precious metals is absolutely retarded and stupid on so many levels. It goes back to the same thing we have been saying. The Mannarino sourceman, for example, he is no special. He's nothing special in the community. To me, he's a dime a dozen. He's like one of those Peter Schiff bots, one of those what's that guy, that Rickards guy, or all these other guys, or all the guys that fellow talks about. They're a dime a dozen. They just do talking points.
What about Tony Maloney?
That guy too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've watched some of his videos. I've looked into his videos. To me, it's pretty much the same thing. It's the same mantra. Dollar collapse, bet against the debt, The dollar's going to collapse, no question about it, and gold and silver is the most undervalued asset. You gotta keep buying these physicals because that's like, it's gonna save us from cats and dogs, living together, mass hysteria, bestiality, all these things, werewolves, silver. I mean, it's going to protect you from everything. As a matter of fact, silver will even protect you against an asteroid hitting the Earth and wiping out millions of billions of people. But as long as you hold silver, the most undervalued asset in world history, you will probably be okay. And when the death bubble bursts and millions of people die, hey, if you're holding silver, you will be living large while your neighbors are starving to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of the marinara sauce mans, or the bologna guys, and the Oscar Mayer wieners, and all those other guys in the YouTubes pumping out the same mantra, the Peter Schiff bots, even Peter Schiff himself, in my opinion, has been wrong on a lot of these core issues that all these other guys in our community, to whom Tacos has affectionately called the ASCON pumpers, have been reiterating the same mantra, which 2020 hindsight will tell us that they have been wrong. So is there any reason to listen to the Marinara Sauce Man, the BrotherJohnFs, the SGT bullshits, and all these other guys with the big wigs, to the toupee wearers? Is there any reason to be listening to these guys? And I gotta say, my professional opinion, now, Tacos Mananeros has been in the financial services industry for a very long time, a good 20 years. I started out as a stockbroker trainee. I went through the cold calling mechanism. I worked on building a book of business. I've went through that. I've gone through that. And over time, I decided to move away from that aspect of the industry, and I decided to go into the compliance aspect. I studied business, I studied economics, I studied business law, securities laws. So I think I have a fairly decent background with respect to business laws, securities laws, and economics. And what I gotta tell you guys is, you guys that are listening to Cyrus's channel, if you are still in the boat of you gotta keep buying the physicals, eventually the ASCON pumpers will be right. And if that's the position you're holding, then I'm sorry, I have to be honest with you. I think you're a wacko. If you're stacking because eventually you believe you are going to be right and we're going to have this big cataclysm, then in my opinion, you are a wacko. Because you could be stacking this crap for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I have to emphasize here on the Tacos Mananeros network, which you are having the privilege of listening to on the great Cyrus's channel, I have to be honest with you guys. Nobody really knows